What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Slim with Pick Up the Streets Gaming, back with another video. And today, we're gonna be talking about The Last of Us Factions delay. It looks like Naughty Dog was having some issues with the game, and Bungie stepped in and actually told them to go ahead and delay it because the game wouldn't have any legs. And in 2023, that's not a good look, but let's talk about it.
Yeah! It's swallowing out there now! Yeah!
Alright, so The Last of Us 2 Factions was delayed once again. We had some rumors going around that Bungie stepped in and told Naughty Dog that, the game need legs and they need to go ahead and delay it and work on it a little bit more. But that's kind of unfortunate because we really haven't even seen the game yet. Like they haven't showed any gameplay or, any previews of the game or how it looks. So the game must have been in a bad state for them to say that, before y'all even show any gameplay or anything, delay the game and rework it. But that kind of just further proves my point that Sony's struggling with multiplayer, and in 2023, it's not a good look. Most of the games people like to play are multiplayer games. Most people like to play games with friends, have shared experiences. Play games online together on Discord, things like that, Twitch. They like to have games where they can, play together and be able to communicate and have content. But these days, Sony is more focused on that single player game, kind of catering to the older audience, where you buy the game one time, you get this one single player experience. It's kind of like a movie. It's like, go here, watch the story, do a couple quick time events, fight a little bit, walk a little bit further, another quick time event. It seems like when you buying a game from Sony, it's kind of like you're getting 50% CGI and 50% gameplay. And the gameplay is not really, anything spectacular. It's just more the story and, put some simplistic gameplay in and, you're good to go. Let's go ahead and look over The Last of Us timeline and see how long it's been since Sony released the last multiplayer game. The Last of Us 1 released in 2013, 2012 if you got it on PS3, in 2013 if you got it on PS4. I played it on PS4. It had the single player game and the multiplayer. The single player was pretty good, but I enjoyed the multiplayer more. It kind of felt like a survival multiplayer. It was kind of new for its time, and I played the single player, started playing the multiplayer, and ended up playing the multiplayer way more than I did the single player. I ended up going back to the single player probably a few months later and completing it. But to me, it was a great multiplayer experience, and I really enjoyed the multiplayer in that game. Now we come to The Last of Us 2, which released in 2020 with no factions. Now, The Last of Us 2 got a lot of high reviews. A lot of people enjoyed the game. So before The Last of Us 2 released, they announced that they won't be having factions in the game, which was kind of awkward because they were charging the same amount for the last game, but with less content. You got the single player experience, which everybody enjoyed, but no multiplayer. So because of that, I didn't even play The Last of Us 2. I really don't like single player games. I'm more of a multiplayer gamer. So I didn't even play it because of that, not having multiplayer. We come to The Last of Us Remake, which was launched in 2022 on PS5. And it was a remake of The Last of Us 1 with no multiplayer. Now, this really kind of showed me that Sony was struggling with multiplayer right here, because how y'all gonna remake a game but not include multiplayer when, to some people, multiplayer was a major part of the first game? And then on top of that, y'all charging more money than y'all did the first game. So y'all kind of giving us half the game, but charging you more money for it, So that really ain't make a lot of sense. And now they mentioned that you're not gonna remake the multiplayer again. Like, y'all couldn't just put the graphics over the multiplayer from the first game and just re-release it, something like that, So that was just another sign that Sony is struggling with multiplayer. Some of their fans don't even care about multiplayer. And it's more the older guys that is gaming, It's more those guys in their 40s and then the ones that like to fight the so-called console war. They're the ones that enjoy those single player games and really don't care about multiplayer games. It's probably because when they say, the older you get, the slower the reflexes you get, you know what I'm saying? I experienced that myself. I'm 35 and I definitely experienced it, especially playing Call of Duty. Like, you know, these kids be tearing your ass up on Call of Duty. But that older audience, they heading out the door, man. They heading to their 50s, you know. They're not really the core audience that Sony needs to be catering to. Sony needs to be trying to catch up with these younger gamers. Like, I see they're kind of trying to do that with Foam Stars. You know, it kind of look like Fortnite mixed with Splatoon. The older gamers, they don't like that, but that's just only trying to get a younger audience and have multiplayer games, service games, because that's what they need for the next generation. You know, you can't be catering to that older audience of gamers. They probably not gonna be gaming in a few more in the next 10 years. So they need to cater to a younger audience by coming up with these multiplayer games. They tried it with Babylon's Fall. Babylon's Fall was an epic failure, and that was another sign that Sony was struggling with multiplayer. Babylon's Fall released last year, and this year the game was canceled. The game launched at $70, a $70 game, and it's canceled 1 year later. Sony really gonna need to kind of get their act together with multiplayer. I'm glad they purchased Bungie. So hopefully Bungie's gonna help Sony out and help them, you know, be able to make better multiplayer games and come up with some good games as a service to kind of help Sony stay afloat in the future. Because if they kind of continue down this path, I don't see them existing too much longer, man. They probably gonna end up being a game studio, just developing games. Because, you know, they got it down packed, you know, the single player, but they really gotta step it up with the multiplayer, man. I done said this in my previous videos. People have been telling me Sony needs to stick with single player, but you gotta evolve with the times and you gotta stay relevant. There's one thing everybody needs to focus on: evolving and staying relevant. I hope y'all liked this video, but that's the end of the video today. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like the content, hit that subscribe button and leave me a comment on how y'all feel about that game being delayed, man, because a lot of people was waiting on The Last of Us Factions. So thank y'all for watching, and y'all have a good one. Peace.